Building a battle mage from the realm of Shyish, coming up next. Hello once again, Age of Sigmar model building fans out there. Welcome back to my fourth and final video in my Collegiate Arcane Mystic Wizards Battle Mage build. And today we're going to be building a battle mage from Shyish, the realm of death. So this will be a great fun build to be doing. And without further ado, let's go down and see how I built mine so you can get an idea of how to build yours. But actually, before we do that, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this channel with all your friends and family. Pound that notification bell so that every time I make a new video, you're the first one to see it. And now, without further ado, let's go down to the bench. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the 2019 article with the realm of Shyish in it, but there is enough stuff from that realm in all these other White Dwarf magazines that are all over the place. And I want to try something new this time around that I discovered in the August 2019 White Dwarf magazine. So, as we flip in here, there is this article that I found that's really cool. Once I get to the page. Okay, this is the Tome Celestial, and these are the Semp Internals. So what this group is a group of Stormcast Eternals that are in the realm of Shyish. This is the closest I could find. But from this, we do get an example of what the coloring is in the realm of the undead. And there's a lot of like browns and reds, dark greens, magical kind of glowing greens, blues, purples, and all the rest. Here we get a glimpse at a little area in this realm. This is called Lethis, the Raven City. And as you can see, there's all these cool boats with like serpent heads and things like that. It's all black and gray with that green and the smoke color. Kind of like Ulgu from last week, from the other sorcerer that we made. And there's the Stormcast Eternal flying through the air with a glowing hammer with a twin-tailed comment of Sigmar going on. All this kind of cool stuff. If we look at this artwork here, you can see the ghosts in the clouds are like green and white and grays and all this sort of stuff. The Stormcast Eternal has the dark purples shooting out of them. All this kind of thing. Here's their models and the figures. So you can see the skeleton guy's got the black and the white. It's actually like Bride of Frankenstein hair there. Lee Munster style too. So, you know, we got all this going on. There's more of those ghostly greens and all that. And there's the Stormcast hitting out for the last stand versus the skeleton warriors and the ghosts and all that. So a little more. And then here we've got our Stormcast, you know, fighting, saving the day against all the skeleton guys, the ghosts, the wraiths, all that from the realm of the dead. And then some cool stuff here. So basically what I'm trying to say is these are our color tones and that sort of thing for Shyish, the realm of the dead. Now I want to show you something else I want to try in this build. On page 126 of the same magazine, we get this nice heavy metal. Heavy metal. Okay, heavy metal article called Object Source Lighting. And this one is done by Max, forgive me if I say this wrong, Felige. So, at any rate, Max here tells us how we get all this cool source lighting. So like here we've got the ogre fire breather, and he's shooting fire out, and you can see the fire is a hot red, or hot yellow, pardon me, and it's reflective on his face and his arm going up here, and then reflective on the bottom of this cloud that's coming up. So that's one source there. We have, of course, the glowing eyes and the glowing swords and all this other stuff. The Skaven with their glowing orbs and gas masks, all that cool stuff. And this magazine article actually tells us how you do your source lighting. So for here they have this orange example, And they've got white at the dead center, a little ring of yellow, a little ring of orange, then sort of a warm red, and then a cold red, and then into your black. So that would be your source. So if your guy's holding an orange glowing orb, the orb would be the white. This would be reflective on him. As it gets further out in his clothing, you get into these tones and whatnot. And then here they do the same thing with black and white, so you can see the light value. And then it gets into all the stuff along the sides and gives you sort of the rules to follow when you do this. So, first turning the page, we get the nice eyes and stuff on a Chaos Space Marine helmet. Then we get this example of the glowing lantern on our Night Goblin and how we painted it all in. So what I want to try to do in our build is, of course, try to get this source lighting. So let's go down and we'll take a look at our parts, and I'll try to figure out and tell you what I'm doing for the source lighting. With our Collegiate Arcane Mystic Battle Wizards box, we really have built 3 out of the 4 models in the past few videos. And this time around, there's only a few choices left. Of course, I've got an A body, which is that tight body. And I'm going to use this orb here. And we're going to try to put the source lighting into the orb on our figures. I think I might use this hooded head instead of, Ming the Merciless here. I'm going to use the scythe on here instead of the thing. But yeah, we'll try this here. So what I'll do is I'll take the parts out and we'll see what we're going to grab. Okay, I know I was going to show the parts next, but I was looking at the back of the box here again, and I'm really at a toss-up as to how to build this guy. I thought it would be a little more simpler. But you can see here's one of the wizards, and he's in purple robes, with, of course, the scythe up here, and he's got the potion bottle and the skulls floating out of it, which again would be quite sort of a Shyish necromancer type of look to him. Then we have this other one where he's wearing more black robes with a lot of scroll work going down on the flowing robes, and he's got the hourglass and the hood, and that guy as well, and the scythe. And again, it's what way do you go? And then there's this guy over here, who's the Ming the Merciless with the evil crystal ball and the red inside. And it's I'm not 100% sure how I want to paint these guys, because these 3 are the most coolest and most Shyish looking type of guys. And like I said, if you just replace the whatever this weather vane thing is on here with the scythe, this guy would look pretty amazing. So somewhere I'm going to try to make a toss-up in between with these guys, and I'm still not 100% sure on the hood with the head or Ming the Merciless. So let's take a look at these plastic parts again. Yes, so we still have 2 parts trees here, and what we have left of them, of course, is that A body. This sounds like a car thing. The A body Chevy. Anyway, there's the scythe, which I think I will use. I don't know, it's such a toss-up between the hooded head or the Ming the Merciless. I like both, really. But I only have one model, it's one shot, so I think I'll have to figure this out. There is also this head that has the skull on the hat. And this is sort of, let's bring this up so you can see what I'm talking about. This is sort of more of the Nagash kind of head, the Shyish kind of head. But, I don't know, the tall hat is sort of, now don't get me wrong, Chaos Dwarf players, I do like tall hats, but somehow I think the hood works better, or that Ming the Merciless kind of head that's there. I don't know, which one would you use? Let me know in the comments down below. The other thing, we could go so many ways with this wizard, our final wizard. But I want the crystal ball, and I want the hand, and I want to do that source lighting. So I think that's the way we go. I might do that high collar too, that I still got one of those left. So yeah, this should be quite interesting. So let me select out some pieces out of these 2, and then we'll come back with our build. So here we have our components. There's the arm holding the crystal ball and the other arm that's covering it. And then of course we get the robes from A body and the Ming the Merciless head and the high collared back. And then of course our scythe up here. So this model will be it's pretty tall actually when you put the scythe on there, you know, in comparison. So that's sort of where it would be. You can see how high up once the head, because the head is going to be low in the chest here. That collar, of course, is going to be right behind it. So there's a lot of room up here. There are some crows that come in the Sigmarite Mausoleum set. And I think I could put one on the top of the scythe here as if it was landing. I don't think like with the other Shadow Wizard, I put that owl right on his arm. And I tried it with this. And again, it's blocking the face and all that stuff. So if I'm going to add the crow in there, I might just put it on the top of the scythe as if it, you know, the familiar rested on there. But anyway, I think this is my choice. Could also try it. I think what I'll do is I'm going to paint up two heads this time around. I'll paint up the one with the hood, and then I'll get this guy all assembled and then see which one goes in and see which one I like better. But anyway, this will be the main wizard. So now I'll clean up all these parts, get rid of the seam lines and all that stuff, and we'll have a look. Actually, before we do that, let's just check something out here. So when this guy is glued together, this is the source lighting thing that we're going to be looking at. So there's the crystal ball, and of course his body here. So as you can see, the light on this ball is going to be refracting out in a big circle, almost like there's the base there, right? So this should go out like that. Now what I'm noticing here is when you put the other hand on, okay, let's see if I can hold this together. The cloaks and all that would prevent that circle from being down here and off where my thumb is and this finger here. So really what we're getting is we'll have a glow on this hand. It'll be shadowed underneath. A glow coming up on this hand, which is blocked up top here. And then all these little rays of light, because according to the article, light travels in a straight line, so the light would come out here and hit here, but this part of the robe will be blocking it from wrapping around the other side, if I understand this right. And then the light is going to be inside here on his chest and all this stuff, maybe down and kind of coming off very low on the legs. So if I painted the inside of the robe black here, it would kind of be light gray and whatever, or orangey or something like that, just on the high points inside. And then, of course, right on his face, but only to a certain point, because his head's going to be down there. So it would be reflecting up a little bit on his face, but not on the top or on the back side. So that's our light refraction thing going on there when we start to paint it. I found this nice artwork in an old Dragon magazine, December 2005. This is sort of what I'm talking about with light refraction. So here we have the glowing object. As you can see up top and down below, it's blocked off. But then all that light is being refracted onto the person here. And you can sort of see it travels quite a bit because this is wide open, whereas our wizard has it more covered. But there's the purple cloaks and all that. And I think I might actually try to paint my wizard more like this, because I think this is more along the lines of what Shyish would be like, the realm of the dead. You know, so let's see how this works. Here's our wizard so far, painted with the black primer, and I think I figured out why this scythe is so tall. And that is actually to fit this hat with the skull head on it, so that you could use that and then this would go right over the top. So it will look pretty tall with that Ming the Merciless head. However, I think what we'll do is we'll pick out our colors and start to paint this. These are the paints I'm going to be using for Purple Cape, Naggaroth Night, which is a base, a shade of Druchii Violet, layer 1 will be Xeris Purple, and layer 2 will be Gene Stealer Purple, and this should give us the right kind of highlights for that cape. The inside portion of the robes and the inner cloak are going to be Mephiston Red as our base, Carerborg Crimson as our shade, Evil Sun Scarlet as layer 1, and Wild Rider Red as layer 2. And for the scroll work on the inside of the wizard's cape, as well as up around the hood and his belt, And of course his chest plate, I'm going to use a base coat of Abaddon Black, followed by a layer of Eshin Grey, and a layer of Dawnstone. These two are going to be rather dry brushed on there. For the green glowing crystal ball, I will use Caliban Green as a base color, a shade of Beeltan Green, a layer of Warpstone Glow, and a final layer of Moot Green, and this will give it sort of that glowing Warpstone look. Now for the metal on the side, I'm going to use a base coat of Lead Belcher, Agrath Earthshade, or you could use Nuln Oil, Ironbreaker as layer 1, and Runefang Steel as layer 2. For the wooden scythe, I'm going to use base coat of XV88, some Reichland Flesh Shade as our shade, a layer of Baylor Brown, a layer of Zamissi Desert, and then on those streaks down there, I'm going to use some Baneblade Brown. Skin color is going to have a base coat of Rakarth Flesh, Reichland Flesh Shade for the shade, Pallid Witch Flesh for the layer 1, and White Scar for layer 2. And for the paint on the vines, we're going to use a base coat of Deathworld Forest, a shade of Athonian Camo Shade, Elysian Green as layer 1, and Ogren Camo as layer 2. Now the reason why I'm showing you all these paints is because what I'll do is I'll paint the figure all up off camera, and then I'll show you the technique for the lighting effect. Here's our wizard from the realm of Shyish so far, and as you can see I've painted it using all those paints that I described earlier. Although I did make a little addition here on the crystal ball. I added in a thinned down layer of White Scar on the top, and I did that by mixing it with some water. And then I coated the whole crystal ball in Waywatcher Green Glaze, which I have right here. And that gave it more of a tied-in effect and a little more green here, as you can see. You can see the nice way I painted in the wizard, almost bone white face. Added in a lot of details on the scythe here. Our little vines, the wood color, add a little bit on the flowers. I used the same White Scar a little bit on the flowers themselves just to make them pop out. The purple on the back of the cape, I haven't quite finished with the other two layers on it. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't rubbing it off like I've done on previous wizards. You know, you paint these guys and start working it a little with your fingers. Rubs all the paint off. There's that other hand that we'll be putting on soon. But yeah, overall, very nice. Did not paint much on the base. I think I'll go over that with Abaddon Black and a little bit of, you know, some kind of Eshin Grey or something just to lighten it up. So I've got him this way so far. Now with that hand over top, you can see most of his face will be covered. But I wanted to leave him at this stage, so now we can start to figure out where the light's going to hit and what colors of paint to use to get a bit of a green glow in here. It looks like most of his face will be shielded, as well as, you know, maybe up some little bit up here. But the majority of the light is going to be off the edge of here and into his cape. So now let's figure out what kind of colors I need for that and how to proceed. And here we have our color range going from the brightest, most intense color of green that I have, all the way down to the most darkest mute green that I have. So here we have Moot Green, Warpstone Glow, Sybarite Green, Warboss Green, Cableite Green, Wog Flesh, and Caliban Green. And I could also bring this up even higher by adding in bits of our good old friend Scar White to bring this closer to a white spectrum. So that's how you would have it. Now I could also remove some of these paints just to, you know, make it a little closer, not using so many. But this is a great gradation or color drop from one to the other. And of course that color drop brings us back to this image where we've got the brightest in the center and it works its way out. And again on the grayscale here, brightest in the center working its way out. So now let's apply a bit of Lathium Medium to make glazes out of these earlier paints. So what I've done here is I've added in 3 drops of Lamian Medium to Caliban Green. I've just dipped the brush in the Caliban Green and then I mixed it together As you can see on this little green spot here, it's pretty runny. And according to the article, what you want to do now is figure out the deepest point that the light is going to be at. And I think since it's a crystal ball here, it's probably going to hit pretty much down here off the bottom of the cape. Now, I'm not really sure what their mixing ratio is to the medium here, so I just sort of had to guess. I also think it'll be inside this edge of the cape, off his arm, maybe more even going up into here. It's the first time I've ever done this, so I'm learning with you. Okay. And then, yeah, it should basically be into here. So let's remove this for a minute. So there's sort of what I've got. I figure the light's not going to be on this edge of him, there, but it will be here, where this ball is reflecting out. Now the intensity of the light up here is going to be brighter, so I won't try to do that type of green up here. Well, I could also put it inside the cape on this side, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, I think it should be coming down here too. A little bit down here on the staff. Yeah, like that. So it's saying to glaze sort of a wide area, so that you can, so that you've got room for the other colors to come up in. So anyway, I think that there should be sort of right. So let's try some of the other colors. Now we're going to try a bit of the raw flesh with the medium, and we'll just go up in here. Boy, made this really watery. Huh. But maybe that's how it's supposed to be. Okay. Let's try to get this one up a little more on here. I'm going to save some of the lighter washes for up in his face here, but we'll get this dark tone down here first, and then always remember, I always have to remember that I have this other sleeve going on here. So far this is looking kind of strange. It's not really looking like much of anything, but I take it as we progress along, you'll start to see it better. Okay, let's try our next color. Okay, next up we're adding the Cabalite green mixed in with, of course, the medium again. Whoops, make sure I'm not putting something on there. Okay, I think I'm going to try to just go up about halfway here. Oops. Try to do this so you can see what I'm doing. Let's just go up this way, because of course our light intensity is changing. Bring this a little more closer up to that sleeve. And I did put some up under here, so let's go back under there again. I don't know. Bring a little light intensity into here, perhaps. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see the color tone shift or not, or if I gotta add more in. I don't know. Well, hopefully it's getting somewhere, because I'm going to move on to the next color. Okay, I'm trying an intermediate mix. I'm mixing 2 brushfuls of Sybarite green with 1 brushful of Cabalite green, just to get a transition color up in between here, which I'll now apply about here. This is just because it looked like quite a jump between the Cabalite green and the Sybarite green. A little too intense of a leap. So I'm kind of gray stepping this bit. I'll try to paint more down on his belt here of this color, just because we're starting to get some intensity. Okay. Higher up here into the cape. We'll just go there. Alright. Now next up, since I already mixed it ahead of time, actually, don't need to stop the camera. So I'm going to add in that Sybarite green at its full intensity here. And just start to go, maybe, let's try to get this a little bit like this. Now I think I'll try to put some on his face here too. There we go. And now let's just go kind of up here. Top of his sleeve here and a bit up this post. Yeah, that's starting to look like something's happening. Let's see its rating up there. Maybe I can go a little higher on the cane. Doesn't look too nice in the red part there, but looks okay up the face. And then what I'll do here, I'll just add a little intensity into here. And then let's go under on his hand. Okay, let's just slip this together here. Now, there should be some coming up on the sleeve here too. Oops, I kind of hit that funny, didn't I? Okay, so there we go. We're starting to get the green effect coming out. Okay, let's try other colors. Next up, we've got a thinned down version of Warboss Green. Now let's see. Let's try to put it about here somewhere. And of course on this part here, a little more light intensity. And then oops. A little more on his face, a little more up here. Not quite too high though. And then a bit going there. Hopefully I'm not painting him off the camera. I'm kind of trying to watch what I'm doing while I'm filming here. Okay, we'll get a little more into the hand. A little more intense in this zone. Okay. So how's our effect looking so far? Yes. I don't know. Could be decent. Could be not decent. I guess I'm kind of getting it. I don't know. Let's see what happens when we go take a big jump up to Warpstone Glow. Now I got my brush loaded up with that Warpstone Glow color. And again, Whoa, not much difference between this and the previous color. Let's see. Okay, add it to the closer parts here. Of course, the robe, top of the arm. I'm progressively bringing the washes closer up under his hand as I move along here. Okay. Alright, so there we go. And now moving on to moot green. Okay, here comes the moot green. Let's see now. Let's get some of it out of the brush. Okay, so we'll have a bit of moot green there. Oh yeah, there we go. That's giving it a little more intensity. Now let's try to... Oops. It's so hard to do it on his face here. Without like making him eat it all. I guess there'd be a bit going on his beard too, eh? Okay, moot green's this one. Okay, let's get a bit of that intensity there without having it go too far down. Alright, let's try for a bit down here at the top. Okay, now under the hand. And along this edge. Ah, I got in the black there. Have to fix that. Let's try to get here. I wonder if this is looking like accurate or something. I wonder if I should have stopped somewhere. I don't know, folks. I ruined it. Strip it all down. Start from scratch. No, I don't know. I guess we're kind of getting it, eh? Keep in mind, this is the first time I've ever done this, so... I don't know. I think I got a pretty decent up around the top and around his face on the one side. I don't know. I think I'm understanding the principle, but maybe the application isn't quite right yet. It's kind of hard to tell. But we'll see. I think what I'll do is add a little yellow in and just try to get a bit of intensity values up. So what I'm doing here is adding in a brush full of Flash Gits yellow to that moot green just to bring up the green intensity level. I'm just going to lay it right under his hand here. And maybe I'll just add a touch going right down here to that inner part of the robe. I just added some Abaddon Black in here and just ended up soaking it again with that color. Okay, and then here, let's just add some little highlights. And just a little up under here for intensity. And a bit of it there. Maybe a little lick right there. Maybe that was too much. Whoops. Okay, so now we're getting more of that green glow, and I think I might just stop there with color and glue that arm on. And then I've got to paint the rest of the purple out here because I only got to stage 2 of the 4-step process. So I'll just do that off camera and then we'll see how this guy looks. So here's our battle wizard so far, all painted. And you can see the green glow on him here. A little bit dark into the robes. And yeah, so basically I'm not sure what you guys think of this, if it just looks like it's kind of a victim of paint splashing all over the place, or what the deal is. You can just move them around a little bit here. As you can see, a little bit of green glow off the edge of the cape there. Let's turn around the back. Should be nice purple colors in here. You can see all the work that I've done on the scythe blade and the flowers up top. This side should be pretty much inert because the light is not coming on this side. And then there he is again with the glow. So I'll try to take some good pictures of this. I know it's really weird. I've got the white background and all the proper lights and everything, but I still can't seem to get this to be pure crystal white like you see in the White Dwarf magazines. But I'll do my best. Well, I hope you enjoyed that great build of our little Shyish battle mage, and I wish you a lot of success on this refracted light technique. Hopefully you can find that White Dwarf issue to help you along. So now that I've got a good stable of battle mages, I think our next video we should take a look at those spells, you know, from the Malign Sorcery set, and start building some of those so that these guys will have some great spells coming up on the battlefield. So if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with all your friends and family. Pound that notification bell so that every time I make a new video, you're the first one to see it. And hey, if you've tried this effect, I want to see your pictures, because maybe I can actually you know, get some more knowledge on how to do it myself. So check it out on our Facebook page. And I'm going to leave the link down there in the description below. Also, if you want to support my work, check out our Patreon account. I'll also leave a link down there. And until next time, everybody, happy model building.